which expensive motorcycle is the best deal for you? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. So on this channel, I talk about motorcycle rides, fixes, new innovations, and general biking lifestyle and news items. I've got a website, RevelatorAlf.com, for all the latest news and motorcycle specifications. So if you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell for all future videos. Anyway, let's get back into the video. So you're thinking about buying a new motorcycle, whatever that is. And it could be quite expensive. Now, obviously, expensive motorcycles, it's really dependent on how much money you've got disposable, right? Because a rich guy buying a $30,000 shekel motorcycle, that might be a drop in the ocean. However, somebody who's on a lower income, that might be a really big deal. So it's all relative. However, let's just say the more expensive motorcycles, are you really getting a good deal? So here's my take on it. Sometimes you're paying for the technology. A lot of the times you're paying for the brand name. And a lot of times you're paying for low production and exclusivity. But you're not necessarily paying for a better motorcycle. So, are you getting the best deal? Okay, so recently I've been test riding quite a few motorcycles, more on the touring side rather than the sportier side. And it's more to do with where I see myself in the next few years riding. Do I want to spend the money on my own motorcycle, or do I want to trade the whole thing in and go for a new motorcycle? Or a nearly new motorcycle that's hardly got any miles on it, let's say. So I've been test riding a few different types of motorcycles just to see which would suit me best. And as of the making of this video, I'm still in that process now. But what I've already noticed is this, that you can go for a brand new motorcycle, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting a much better deal. So let's just say if you're trying to go for a like-for-like motorcycle, whether it's a Tourer versus a Tourer, Harley-Davidson versus Indian, or a BMW. You're going for an adventure bike, whether it's a Triumph, KTM, BMW, the list goes on. So it comes to a point, whilst they have different features and different benefits, it really is a subjective decision. It's down to your own personal taste and preferences and bias, which bike you're likely to go with. But essentially, they are very similar. In fact, some manufacturers, and especially dealerships and salesmen, might say that this bike is a direct competitor to that other brand's bike. But they're still really expensive. However, then you come across another brand that you might not have initially thought of, and they're selling a very similar bike, very capable, but it might be £5,000, dollars, shekels less. So where is the deal? Now, you could buy a motorcycle that'll do exactly the same thing, let's say a Tourer or an off-road capable bike or a sports bike, from a cheap motorcycle manufacturer, let's say, a budget motorcycle manufacturer. But then you're starting to enter the realm of, well, what's the build quality of that like? What components are being used? Is it more plastic than metal? Again, so it really depends what the quality of that final product is and how long it's going to last at a good quality. So let's say you might buy a cheap motorcycle, for example, and it may only be good for 2 or 3 years maximum before things start rusting off or falling off. Whereas a really expensive motorcycle may last the test of time. But that's not always the case, is it? So where are you going to get the best deal right now? Should you trade in your old motorcycle or try and sell it privately? So I've made similar videos on this point before. Sometimes you can get a better deal on your new purchase if you're trading in your motorcycle. Sometimes you'll get more money on a private sale, but not necessarily, because it really depends what the dealership is giving you as an incentive to trade your motorcycle, and especially if it's a sought-after motorcycle as well. So you really have to do your groundwork to say whether a trade-in or a private sale of your existing motorcycle is the best way to go. Certainly for ease of transaction, the trade-in is going to be the best way to go. but that's purely an individual decision again. The next thing is, what deal are you going to get on a brand new motorcycle? Are you going to get a better deal with a cash purchase, or whether it's on a finance deal as well? So again, individual manufacturers and dealerships will offer different things, and also at different stages of the year. Now, this is something else that I've certainly become aware of, that certain times of the year you'll get a much better deal than at other times of the year. When is probably the best time of year to get a new bike or an ex-demo bike or stock bikes that a dealership has got? Now, again, I've mentioned this before as well, but it's probably in December. The December month is probably that time of year where everything starts to slow down. The dealerships have got their stock. They want to try and get rid of it before the end of the year. So that's probably where you're going to find the best deals. They're going to have a surplus of stock, especially in the countries where there's a winter as well. Not a lot of riding going on. Not a lot of motorcycle sales are taking place. So that's probably where you're going to get your best bet. Now, you're also probably going to get your best deal on a nearly new motorcycle. One that's maybe 1 or 2 years old, has got a couple of thousand miles on it, but you're going to get it for substantially less, maybe £2,000 or £3,000 beneath the brand new asking price. Not always the case. It really depends if it's a transition year in terms of model specifications, if there's a different change in model year and specifications as well. Many may perceive the previous year as a better option than the update, therefore the previous year holds greater value. Now, with most things in life, research is king and is also your best friend. You really need to do the groundwork to see which is going to be the best for you in terms of what you can afford, what bike is going to suit your needs, where you're going to go to buy it, and what is the best deal for you at that time. Would it be a brand new motorcycle with extra incentives that they may give you? Would it be with a used bike that is nearly new, or a used bike that has got a few years on it and has got a few thousand miles on it? So let's just talk about an older motorcycle now. So sometimes we can think that buying a brand new motorcycle is the way to go for the future. But you can get great deals on older motorcycles, let's say 10, 15 years old, and maybe a little bit older than that, that have hardly been used. They've probably got 10,000 miles on there, 15,000 miles. And especially if it's a much bigger motorcycle with a bigger engine, let's say a touring motorcycle, because those engines are less likely to have been overstressed. Now, with a sports bike engine, you're more likely to have had a motorcycle engine that's been stressed. In other words, it's been over-revved at regular intervals, whereas with a touring motorcycle, less so. So let's say you can pick up a motorcycle that's done 20, 30,000 miles that has got a 1400, 1500 cc engine in it, and it's in mint condition pretty much. Although it might be a bit dated in design, it might have the odd scuff here and there, but essentially it's a great motorcycle. And you could pick it up for £4,000 or £5,000, dollars or shekels, and sometimes even less than that. The best motorcycle deal is not always a brand new motorcycle, and the best motorcycle deal may not always be when you want to ride that motorcycle as well. Now, certainly from my experience, and I don't always follow my own advice, it has to be said, but the best time of year to buy a motorcycle is in the winter months. That's where the best buy is going to be. Now, conversely, that's probably the worst time to try and sell a motorcycle as well. But in a buyer's market, that's probably the best time to buy. From the autumn into winter, and then very early spring. Probably by early spring, that's already too late, because that's when the so-called motorcycle riding season will kick off again, and people will start to buy the brand new model years and look to buy a motorcycle so they can ride in the spring and the summer months. So if you're looking to buy a brand new motorcycle, if you're looking to get the best deal, then don't always look at the most expensive. Look at the motorcycle itself and the specifications that it has. Look at the, let's say, build quality. Look at the reputation of the manufacturer and the brand itself. Look at the price, of course, but then look around. Look around at different prices, but probably look towards the end of the year to see if you can get a better deal. But you may indeed want to pull the trigger a lot earlier because you just want the bike earlier in the summer. But also, at that specific time, let's say a dealership is going to give you a great deal on your motorcycle that you may want to trade in, or they may be running a promotion there and there, and they think, you know what, that's just too good to be true. Now bear this in mind, the most expensive motorcycles also may come with a much better overall package as well. So that's something you cannot discount. It's the overall package, it's the purchase price, it's the servicing costs, the service intervals, it's also the warranties, and also the finance packages that can go with those motorcycles as well. What's the best deal that you're going to get from that brand, that motorcycle dealership, and also on that particular bike? Again, research is king and is going to be your best friend as well. So if you're thinking about buying a new motorcycle, whether it's brand new or used, the most expensive is not necessarily the best deal. The cheapest is also not necessarily the best deal. It largely depends on what you're looking for in a motorcycle, how much faith you have in that brand, and will that motorcycle suit your needs, and what can you bring to the table, and what will the dealership or the salesperson or the brand bring to the table as well at a specific point in time. But largely speaking, the buyer's market occurs in the winter months and the seller's market begins in spring or early spring and lasts all the way through the summer and into early autumn. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you did, give the video a like and share. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell for all future videos. There are lots of videos coming, more test rides coming as well, more news items and discussion topics coming very, very soon. Don't forget to check out the website RevelatorAlf.com for all biking news and motorcycle specs, and I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.